Hey guys, welcome back to Delving into the Cult. This is Dee. Today we're going to be doing another urban legend. You know him, you love him, or you love to hate him. I don't know. Slender Man. I'm kind of selling my soul with this one because I feel like it's one of those things that's so popular now. But I got interested in what the origins and whatnot were of Slender Man. So that's kind of what we're going to go into today. So without further ado, let's just dive into it. So Slender Man first appeared in June 2009 when he was created by Eric, and I'm probably going to mispronounce his last name, Knudsen. Who created it under his pen name Victor Surge in a forum called Something Awful. Now he created it for a contest to create photos with paranormal elements. And the original two photos were black and white pictures with Slender Man in the background just kind of hanging out. And he's quoted, the creator is quoted as saying that he intended to create, and I quote, something whose motivations can barely be comprehended and which caused unease and terror in the general population. And I think he did that. Because if you've ever seen Slender Man, just looking at him puts your teeth on edge. He's creepy. But you know, since it is a newer urban legend, we kind of have more information about it. We can figure out the origins and kind of what the motivation was behind it being created. Now, according to Knudsen, the Slender Man himself was inspired by Stephen King's The Mist. And there were a couple of other things, but the main one that I saw in my sources was Mist. And in case you're not familiar with what Slender Man looks like, he's tall, thin, and faceless. He's got the head, he's got, the other body parts, no face. And so the legend after its creation just kind of took on a life of its own and began to grow. When other people, namely other internet creators, started adding their contributions. Some of them being that, he caused amnesia. Some of them claim that he stalked through the woods and, stalked children. But he doesn't have an official backstory, and that's why he's so appealing to people. Because they can make up whatever scary story they want to about Slender Man, and there's nothing that anybody can, conclusively say to be like, no, that's not true. And specifically in the last couple of years, he's just completely blown up. He's been in, he's going to be in a movie that's coming up, in games and costumes. I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago, like, everybody and their brother was Slender Man for, Halloween. But unfortunately, with that comes a negative side too. It's not just fun and games. On May 31st, 2014, two 12-year-olds, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Ware, brought one of their 11-year-old classmates to the woods in Wisconsin behind Geyser's home and stabbed her 19 times. And their motivation, they claimed, was to please Slender Man with a sacrifice. Now, thankfully, the victim survived. She crawled to a bike path after the two other girls left her for dead. And someone found her and got her the help that she needed. Unfortunately, she did have 2 stab wounds to major organs, but she ended up only having to spend about 6 days in the hospital. I mean, that doesn't account for the endless months of recuperation that she had to have, and probably a lifetime of fear that she'll have from being attacked so brutally at such a young age. And Geyser and Ware fled, but they were caught later, and they had the knife with them. They admitted that, the attack had been planned for months, and so it was definitely premeditated. In August of that year of 2014, Geyser was ruled incompetent to stand trial following a diagnosis of childhood onset schizophrenia. And so I know a lot of you are probably like, well, that's not really a shock. But it kind of is, because, and I can't give you the exact statistics, but most of the time I would say schizophrenia is not able to be diagnosed until mid to late 20s. But in December of 2014, both girls were deemed competent to stand trial. But both girls pleaded not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. And they will be tried as adults and can face 45 years in prison. And the criminal justice part of me goes, yeah, they should. And the human part of me goes, they were 12 years old. But I think probably the bigger part of me goes, they planned this for months. They knew what they were doing. And no matter how delusional they claimed to be about Slender Man, they still almost killed an 11-year-old girl. And unfortunately, this isn't the only crime that's been attributed to the Slender Man legend. There have been others, such as an arson and an attack on an Ohio mother by her daughter. So, I mean, this is something that unfortunately has just spiraled, as things tend to do, and it's a mess. And it started out innocently enough. It started out as something to pique people's interest, to kind of give them a little fright, but it became an excuse for irrational, violent behavior, and that's really sad. So I think that for this week, let me know what you guys think. Any Slender Man stories out there you want to share, or any opinions on the case that we discussed? Let me know. You know how to hit me up. Alright guys, stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.